Assalamu alaikum everyone. Mohammad Sadiq Iraj here. So I actually started this course called Learning How to Learn. So I got suggestions for this course from many people, like Mr. Gordic. You can know him. He has a very nice YouTube channel. You can check that out. And let's talk about why I actually started doing this course. So actually, I often get overwhelmed by the vast amount of things I want to learn. So actually, learning how to learn is very important for me. I mean, learning how to learn efficiently. And uh, I went through the contents of the course, and it seemed very nice. If you look into it, you can also see. So here's in the first group we talk about first learn. So there are some of the things like focus and diffusion. I'll talk about the things that are very interesting to me in the video. And uh, I am actually talking about week one because I'm not yet done with other weeks. It would not be a good idea to do so before going through it. So I'm done with week one for now. So yeah, and uh, in week one, yeah, you can see I'm done with week one. So in week one we had contents like this contents. So focused and diffuse mode, uh, and the reason of procrastination, and also a solution to also some other things like how to deal with memory, how to keep the things in long-term memory and access it. Actually, this thing was very nice and gave me a good perspective. So, without further ado, I am moving on to the things. Okay, so I'll go on the things one by one. So first, most important thing was the focus and diffuse. So what are this? The focus mode is when we uh, focus on a particular thing without uh, giving attention to any other thing. So this is the focus mode, and this is necessary to learn something new. And uh, I mean something new in particular. And in case of diffuse mode, we open up our minds. So actually, we need to move back and forth from diffuse mode to focus mode to get a good grasp of the whole thing. So professor actually talked about two things. I mean, this technique, this called Pomodoro technique. Many of you will know this. So let me just give a brief on what this thing is. So this technique includes first you need to focus 25 minutes on a particular topic you without any interruption, only focus, and then you take a 5 minutes break. So there needs to be a reward can be having a cookie, taking a walk or something like that, so that your mind gets totally free of the things you did in focus, all the stress and all that. So uh, and after that you repeat the step one again. So generally the food break needs to be longer. So how this thing works, let me show you. Let me show you here. So let's think that this is our attention, and let me take a, just think that this is our attention, and there we have the time. Okay. So uh, let's think that these are the 25 minutes. So 25 minutes, and this is like the 5 minutes break. Here you take another break. Here you take another break, and then another break. So uh, initially our attention is very high. So like this, it actually decreases with time. So if we take a break here, then you can start again from this portion. So actually, this is how this whole thing works. So why we need a break in fourth, uh, fourth break. I mean, a longer break in fourth break. So if we think like this, it can happen that the graph is not always like this. So it can happen that okay, you started like this, yeah. Then if you don't start from here again, you start from here. Okay, it can happen and it actually happens. So yeah, again. You see that starting point is decreasing, and from here the starting point is decreasing again. If you take a long break, you can start again from here. Yeah, so you can use the Pomofocus app or the Forest app. You can check those out. I actually put a link of Pomofocus app that I use uh, during my studies. So that's there. Okay. Yeah. Let's go back to okay, let's take this one. Okay. And next we have the memory. Wait, yeah. Next we have the memory. So uh, we have two types of memory for our brain. One is the short-term memory and the long-term memory. Short-term memory is the working memory. Uh, the, the thing is that is very accessible. And long-term memory is not accessible but can be accessed. So we have to practice a lot to get the things from long-term memory very quickly. So think it like that. Let me give an example. So you have a big store, and let's think that this is the front of your store, and you have some of the things here, some of the things here. Okay, so and this is the your store. I mean, you store all the things here, but uh, you don't generally show them to customer. So I use show the important things, I mean the most necessary things to the customers. So when a customer comes, he generally moves around here and takes the things. Okay. So yeah, so it can happen that a customer might want something that generally other customers don't want. So what you need to do is to organize the long-term memory or the inventory store. I mean, the background of your store, the portions that you don't generally access. You have to organize those things and also make ways to access them very quickly. Okay. So this is how the short-term memory actually links with our long-term memory. I hope this was clear with the example. So for this, professor actually talked about the spaced repetition. This is a technique. So you don't do all the learning and all the memorizing on only a single day. You take time and you take days to memorize it. So that way, you can make ways very clearly or very easily. So another two important things that most of us workaholic people actually try to ignore is the importance of sleep and exercise. So why sleep is important? So when we sleep, our brain actually release the toxins by shrinking the neurons. So and when we exercise, our brain generally uh, generate new neurons or form new neurons. So actually, this both of the things are important. So uh, even if you have a lot of pressure, you should get 6 to 8 hours sleep every day. It depends on how you are habituated. Okay, and about exercise. So you don't need to work out like the professional workouts, the professional ones. So you can just do some running, walking. The simple things can actually be very helpful. Swimming, riding a cycle, these things. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And another two important things that were there. One is this one, making mistakes while learning. So most of us are worried about uh, how many mistakes that we are making when we are learning something new. So actually, we are bound to make mistakes when we are learning something new. We have to keep that in mind. always. If we don't keep that in mind, we are probably gonna make things worse, or we are probably not gonna improve our mistakes. So if we make mistakes, there's chance to make uh, progress. And another important thing was mind mapping. So this is actually very important for writing. So in this way, you actually uh, jot down all the ideas by linking all the things. So uh, linking all the important things that you want to write about a particular topic. So you need to take a page, or you can take like this one, the one I'm showing, and yes, like that. You can actually you have all the things in your brain you want to write about. Just put them there randomly, like a. I'm just giving some examples. So C, yeah, D. So this is your main topic. You can link. Okay, this topic is directly related to this thing. Okay, no problem. Yeah. So this is related to this thing, and this is also related to this thing. You can make the links, and later when you are actually writing the whole thing, you can actually focus on what links with what, and you won't miss any references, any links or other things. So this is actually very important. So to do this, and also another important thing was that you should edit and write with different uh, focus. I mean, when you are in focus mode, you should edit things, and when you are diffuse mode, you are in diffuse mode, you should write things. So you shouldn't think when you are writing, and you should edit when you are thinking. Okay, so writing and editing, doing both stuff together is actually a very bad thing, and it actually hampers the way and progress of writing. So we can try that out. So this is actually the first week. I will give another overview on what I did on second week, probably in the same video. So hello, welcome back again. So I'm done with actually the week 2 of the course learning how to learn. This was an exciting ride, if I can say. So actually, it just like the course that I do. Right? So I will be sharing that with you guys in the comment section. Sorry, in the description box. So let me get started with what are the nice things that I found in week 2. So the most important thing was chunking. So what actually is chunking? So chunking is actually the mental leap that helps us unite uh, scattered bits of information through meaning and understanding. So basically, we learn and relate with other things and uh, make chunks so that you can access that part of the memory very quickly. And if you access that part, you can also access the related parts somehow, something like that. So if we think about it like that, we form something like that in our brain. And when we are to access a portion of it, so when we access a portion of it, we also access the whole thing. So something like that, I think we will get more and talk more about it. So yeah. So how do we form a chunk? We need three things: focused attention, understanding, and practice. So focused attention is when you are in the focus mode, you have to uh, get into the focus mode, full focus mode. And other two things are you need to understand the thing, understand the basic, and also you also need to practice. So if I can say about practicing, the more you practice, the better chunk you form, and it's always better to practice more and more. So, and later there was another thing. So, I I think all of you faced a situation where you were studying something and something very complex or complex comes in, or you face something that's very huge. So we often get very frightened or something like that, or worried or confused how to face it. So a bit of motivation here is that the law of serendipity. So what is this? It is something like we heard some proverb, the good fortune favors the brave, or for their for what they said, it is like uh, but the lady luck favors the one who tries. So if I can get more clear about this one, this is like the more you try, the more you try, the more you get better at something. So if something is complex, then you should first dive into it and try it. Then bit by bit, it will be easier for you. Or if you have a huge chapter, then you can't complete a huge chapter just by looking at it. You have to start doing, and one day, or a period of time, you'll be done with the chapter. So something like that. That was an important bit of motivation for all of us, I guess. So other things are this thing was very important for me, I guess. Illusion of competence. So what is the illusion of competence? So there are cases that we take a glance at something or some solution and think that okay, I know the solution, I can do that. So I did this a lot of time in my life, or and if you can say in my contest programming life, in my problem solving life. So I did that. So that was a bad practice, of course. So we should not do something like this. So when we look at just the solution and think that okay, we know it, it actually doesn't happen. We have to do that by hand, and of course, then and by only doing that, we can actually be competent of that particular thing. So how can we get out of this illusion of competence? So there are two things. One is mini testing. So mini testing is like you have to go through tests all the time. Like you need to test yourself. Like by testing, it can be done by making someone else understand, uh, or or like you can pair in small tests with your peers, something like that. Okay. And another thing is importance of people. So there are cases that you can't perform well in without a particular situation, or without a particular chair, without a particular room. So when we are not doing the learning thing, uh, like you are lying in a bed or in somewhere else, you need to try to recall the things so that you can perform everywhere. So that was one of the greatest tips. Okay, and these four things are also important. So, what is overlearning? So, overlearning is not always bad. I mean, generally, when we say over, we always think that that's bad. No, it's not always bad. So, overlearning is to continue practicing even after we mastered that particular thing. So, overlearning actually produce automaticity, and also there is a problem in that it might create illusion of competence. So you are practicing the same thing that you already know. So you might think that okay, I'm good at this. So if I give an example, you know how to add or how to multiply. So you keep doing that, you'll feel that okay, I'm very good at this. So how to get out of this thing? This is another thing. That's deliberate practice. So deliberate practice is like uh, you should be deliberately focusing on what you find more difficult. So that's how you will get out of the overlearning practice and other things. So another thing is interleaving. So what is interleaving? Interleaving is actually jumping back and forth between the problems that require different techniques. So this is how actually you gain flexibility and creativity. So basically, it is important to learn a thing with a focused attention, but after some time you need to move somewhere else and try something else so that uh, you can actually relate those things, transfer those things to other things, transfer the analogies, okay, something like that. And last but not least, this thing is also important. It's Einstellung. I think it's a German word. So what is this? So it is to so think it's something like that. You know how to solve a problem. So you know how to solve a problem, but the way you know, there are better ways to solve that particular problem. Okay. So why did I draw this? So you can actually draw it just like I drew, or or you can draw it in other ways, like you can, yeah, yeah. That's a bit tougher, right? Not tough. Same thing, but I did it a bit easier way, something like that. So, yeah, like I can say, or you can try out something like that. Okay, now I will draw this one, but this is actually a bit harder, I guess. You can't do all the things. I'm just giving an example. So you can, you need to place a roadblock on. So I imagine that you start from here, yeah, and your destination is here. Okay, so when you reach this, you are actually the survivor. So generally, your thought was something like this: you solve this problem in this way. So what does this thing do? So actually, you can solve this in this way also. Let me change the color. So you can solve this in this way also. Yeah, easy way. So what you need to do is put a roadblock here so that you can't go from here. If you can put that roadblock, you can easily go to this route, which is much easier. So this is actually very important for problem solving skill and other things, I guess. So that was actually it. I'll be sharing the links in the description box. Till then, keep learning and see ya. I love this.